If you're someone who's looking to get more joy and fulfillment out of your life without sacrificing the bag, and you're thinking of doing so by monetizing your passions, here's why that's a bad idea. Everybody is different, so if you are dead set on doing this and exploring that for yourself, or you've already done it and you've already found a way to preserve the passion, then just take this with a grain of salt, or I'll see you in the next video. But if you're still weighing the pros and cons, or if you are having to invest a lot of your time, money, and energy into pursuing the monetization of your passion, and you really want a more well-rounded opinion about if it's worth it, this video is for you. To dive right in, one of the biggest issues that most American people are facing when it comes to their mental health, their sense of fulfillment, and sense of just well-roundedness and socialization in their life is that there are no third spaces, right? We've been talking about this little buzzword, third spaces. What does a third space have to do with you pursuing your passion as a career? Well, for the most part, third spaces center around passions and hobbies, or hobbies that can become passion. Just like it was a weird psychological thing for people to grasp when the home space became the workspace, that can happen as well when the third space becomes the workspace. Human beings have this little dopamine thing happening in their head, which allows them to feel fulfillment, excitement, joy, and more than anything, motivation to get something done. And so a lot of times when you are having trouble creating discipline or finding the motivation to do something, it's usually because like something funky is going on with like your dopamine. Maybe you're scrolling too much, and so you're getting all your dopamine from here, and so all of a sudden accomplishing a task doesn't feel like a dopamine hit. Or it's just like you don't actually have a thing that you are in control of that gives you dopamine, which is why a lot of people default to like drinking or eating or recreational intimacy to have control over their dopamine. So a lot of times it's not enough just to have it like given to you through the screen. That actually increases your feelings, or I feel like, in my opinion, that increases your feelings of like hopelessness and loss of control. But to feel like there is dopamine that you can control, like I can go do this for myself, I can go get this feel-good thing for myself, I can create novelty and adventure and spontaneity for myself, is really important for human beings to feel like they have autonomy and to feel like they have a sense of purpose in this world. I truly believe that the idea that your sense of purpose has to come from your workplace is a capitalistic idea, because if people want you to commit to a job for 30 or 40 years and dedicate every waking hour to it outside of your family, they have to give you some kind of core belief, because we run on core beliefs as human beings. They have to give you some kind of core belief that makes you feel like someone else's corporation, which you're not sharing in a majority of the profits of, are worth your full attention, your full investment, all of your energy. And so if people can get you to believe that your career, their company, and their profit is your life's purpose, it's easier to get you to tap into that. And it's easier now that most people live in areas that are designed to not have third spaces. So all of a sudden third spaces exist in downtown areas, midtown areas, and the suburbs where a lot of people live. It's just out of the way for them to go to a coffee shop or a music space or wherever it is that you like to hang out. So it's easier to just go from work to home. And then if you add in the idea that your workplace is your passion and your life's purpose, all of a sudden you don't have a reason to escape your house. But now that we're in a time and space where people are not getting, we'll say, a matching economic reward for the effort that they're putting in at work, it's kind of opening their eyes to see that, okay, so I'm not being economically stimulated in the proper way, and this doesn't feel like good work. I feel like my soul's being crushed. All of a sudden it's positioning people to seek that sense of fulfillment elsewhere. But I think a lot of people are making the mistake of deciding that, okay, my passion makes me happy, so this must be my life's purpose, or this must be what my career needs to be, because my life purpose and my career have to be the same thing, right? No, I totally believe that your career should really just center around what are you highly skilled in, what are you competent in, that you can do at a level of ease that still that still yields you a high level of reward. So I can do this really easily without expanding a lot of energy, and it doesn't suck my life out. It should really just leave you at a net neutral so that you have all this energy and spirit still in your body that you can go do whatever you want outside of work. I think that's the biggest issue. I don't think most people want to monetize their passion. It's that the workspace is draining so much of their life, energy, and time that they don't have time or the emotional connection that they would like to engage with things that they care about. And a lot of people don't even have the capacity to really think about, what do I enjoy? A lot of times people are operating from the space of what simply does not make me miserable, which is not the same as what makes you happy. The absence of misery is not the presence of joy. If you're still trucking with me thus far, thank you. Make sure you hit like, drop a comment below, and if you're really digging this conversation, make sure you hit subscribe. My name is Kady. I am a musician. I am an artist. I do write, but I also just talk a lot. So this channel manifests this. Let's have conversations about what it means to be human. Sometimes that's about work and achievement and motivation. Sometimes that's about relationships, romantic, platonic, and others. Sometimes that's just about personal discovery, because really that's what all of life is going through experiences that give you the opportunity to discover who you are. So make sure you hit like and subscribe if you enjoy chatting with me about these things. Okay, but back to it. If you are lucky enough to know what makes you happy, I think you need to preserve that. I honestly think that was the key to older generations being able to really stay at these terrible jobs that really only existed to feed their families. They had passions and third spaces that gave them a sense of community and purpose outside of the workplace. For example, it was really easy for somebody's Mima to be a secretary for 30 or 40 years because on Thursday nights she went to poker with her friends, and on Sunday she went to church, and she had all these little things that gave her a boost of joy. She had all these things to motivate her to get through the day. All of a sudden, work is simply a part of life, not all of life itself. You have something to look forward to because you get to come home and do your passion, and also how skilled you are at your passion does not matter, right? Like I think, I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's capitalism, but I don't understand this idea that you have to be good at a passion, and if you are gonna sell, you do need to be good at it. And so it's like, no, your passion is just like what you enjoy. You're allowed to be bad at stuff. Can I just say that you're allowed to be bad at things and just have fun, right? And you're even allowed to share it and be bad at it, because that's the other part of like, oh, well, don't post it, be criticized. No, they posted it because they wanted to share this part of their lives. Like, people are allowed to use social media as documentation of their lives, not documentations of their achievements, right? Like, if you're gonna be in the audience, have some decorum. Honestly, that's the thing that I feel like social media really did ruin. Back in the day, we were a proper country that understood what it meant to sit and observe and respect a performer. We went to the theaters where people could see us in our faces and hear us. And if you were to heckle somebody, they probably earned it. Or it was really it wasn't just because you were bored. A lot of people heckle people that they are observing on the internet because they're bored and they have nothing else to do, and they're projecting all of their negative emotions into them. But back to the topic. Being able to have variety to your life is instrumental to you being able to feel enjoyment, fulfillment, and just that you have some kind of control. So there should be the thing that sparks you, that makes you feel ignited, that renews you, that acts as a sense of adventure for you without harming people that you love, because sometimes very interesting types of people will hear me say that, like, yeah, send that to my wife. She should understand why instead of coming home to help her with the children that I help sire and do equal housework, I want to go out in the streets with my friends and turn my shut up. I'm not supporting you. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, you should have something that hopefully does not harm other people, that allows you to connect with your spirit, yourself, and then you will feel more of a sense of renewment when you have to go do things that are your duties, which are your jobs and your relationships. Your relationships should not feel like work. Relationships are work, but they should not feel like work. But that's a whole nother conversation. You need to like the people you join your life with. But all of a sudden, when your passion has to be measured by how good are you and how much can you sell it, it's no longer about you. All of a sudden, it's about how much quantity can I push out, or how much reach can I reach and how many people, you know what I mean? All of a sudden you are being evaluated by other people, because when you are being paid for something, yeah, a payment is actually legally a contract to deliver something within an agreed expectation. And so you know, like, if people were paying for it, you gotta deliver, or you gotta communicate it. But like, you should be allowed to have something that is simply yours, that you don't have to rely on to eat. All of a sudden that's stressful, because now if the thing isn't a thing, you lose your home or you can't eat. Do you feel me? And it's not that like it's the ultimate evil in the world to monetize your passion. Of course, a lot of people do it successfully, but I just would think about how your life is set up, because even the people who have done it had to find another passion outside of their work. But you're not set up for that, and you shouldn't be. You're not here to achieve and run up the score of money that, you know, it's here and it's gone. You're here to experience being alive. That's the thing that will never return. This experience, this exact experience, no matter what your faith or your beliefs are, because even if you believe in incarnation, you're coming back as somebody or something else. This is your one experience to be this person, play this game, play this simulation, and see what does it feel like to be me? Do you ever just ask yourself that? I ask myself that. What does it feel like to be me in this moment, right? Sometimes I ask myself, what is the most joy that I can ascertain in this moment under these circumstances? Which is a very specific question. It acknowledges that there are things that would probably make you very, very happy, but they cannot be done right now in this moment, right? So I like to ask myself, what would bring me the most joy in this moment under these circumstances? And I do it just to give myself a hit of joy. Sometimes, let's say, if I'm stuck on my computer, that might to play music in my headphones. If I am in the park, it might be to go kick some leaves or get on a swing, you know what I mean? So it's like, what can I do to bring the most joy to myself in this moment under these circumstances? I think it's a brilliant question to ask, right? Which kind of brings us back to, you are here to experience life and being yourself and being fully connected. And you do need money to support yourself, but if money is the only thing that you have got your eye on and you can't take your eyes off of it, all of a sudden it is a master of your life. All of a sudden it is the determination of if you have joy each day. And just like another person doesn't need to control your day or your life, little finicky paper thingy should not either. And it's not to go impoverished, as people like to say when I bring up this conversation. It's to master, understand, it's to master putting it in its place. Let me bring a level of focus and structure to my life and my day that allows me to ensure that the money's taken care of, but it does not disrupt me, my personal needs, and my expectations of life. Do you feel me? But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to give you a different perspective. If you are just simply looking to increase more joy and you're not necessarily dead set on going to your passion as a career field, there are other options for you. There are other ways to balance your life. And if you look in the description box, I will likely have some resources for you to learn more, and I might even put some things on the screen, so check that out. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
I used to wear Stockholm, now I prefer alone. I'd rather do this on my